This year, the port of Haifa will see at least 200,000 impoverished people come to make their homes in the new state of Israel. These are in addition to the 500,000 who already have found refuge here at the rate of 18,000 a month for the past 30 months. For with door after door again closing on them in Europe and Asia, many are forced to come now or never. Stripped of little more than the barest essentials, their worldly belongings often in a single suitcase, they bring only their bare hands and hearts of courage. Providing the tools with which these hands may work, the Women's American Ort, Organization for Rehabilitation Through Training, is performing a monumental task in aiding the people of this pioneer nation. For boxes of tools and machinery, made possible by Women's American Ort chapters throughout the entire United States, are worth more than gold to a people who must shape their lives anew, who have come to fulfill their destiny in this ancient desert land. The great problem facing Tel Aviv and its 300,000 souls is that of all Israel, skilled labor. Lines at employment windows are long. There is work, but they're asked, what can you do? What trade have you? And most of them, uprooted from strange lands, are forced to say, I have no trade, but I'm willing. I want to work. Show me how. I can learn. This is Ort's role in Israel, giving people that chance to learn. But the new state is unable to absorb its new citizens overnight, and out in the desert, thousands are forced to live in tent cities under conditions that are anything but tolerable. Here, surveying sites for additional Ort buildings, buildings to house and school the new citizens, are Dr. Aaron Singelovsky, head of World Ort Union, and Ort's executive chairman in Israel, Mr. Joseph Baham. On their shoulders rests much of the burden of Ort's problems in the Middle East. Typical of Ort's work in the Promised Land is this school for machinists and tool makers now operating in Jaffa. Men and boys working with tools, supplies, and equipment sent by Women's American Ort. This is your Ort in action. This is Ort's great international creed at work, training people to take their places in Israel's new industrial and agricultural economy, helping people along the road to self-sufficiency, helping build new lives for those who but a short time ago had no future and no hope, helping our fellow men and their children win back the self-respect that is the God-given right of every human being. Today, most of the 32 Ort schools operating in Israel require that administrators also be able to teach subjects of high school level. For in addition to being specialists in their craft, many must combine trades with basic academic instruction. Working with planes, files, saws and carpentry tools supplied by Women's American Ort, these boys are learning a trade that will keep them from ever again becoming a public charge. This is real rehabilitation. Beauty culture, a $1 billion a year business in America, is also recognized in the new state as an important and lucrative profession for women. Thanks to machines, equipment, dryers, washers supplied by Women's American Ort, the program has established the first school of its kind in Israel, gives 1- and 2-year courses under expert guidance, equips girls and young women to support themselves while learning, and at the same time contributes immeasurably to the well-being and morale of the feminine population, sends them out with skills worthy of the finest American or European salon. In Tel Aviv and Jerusalem, in Ben Shimon and Ramlah, Classes in dressmaking and tailoring are among the most popular and sought after of all Ort's undertakings. Working with machines and materials generously supplied by Women's American Ort, students are acquiring a high degree of skill in handwork, cutting, design, and dressmaking. Here, in one exhibition of handiwork made by Ort students, is dramatic proof that Ort's training program is making tremendous strides. For here is work comparable to the finest in the world. Soon the hands that fashion these lovely garments will find their place in Israel's rapidly growing clothing industry, will help make some families, some homes self-sufficient and self-supporting. And while Ort is justly proud of its students and their work, we must face the fact that we're only scratching the surface. There is so much to be done. Proudest, perhaps, are these fortunate youngsters who celebrate their graduation by dancing the Hora, the beloved national dance of Israel. As we look at these school buildings established by Ort throughout Israel, one sees real accomplishment and growth. For the tasks and problems confronting Ort today are greater than ever before in the 70 long years of Ort's unremitting efforts in behalf of the Jewish people. Today in the great Ort House in Jerusalem, formerly seat of the British government and one-time palace of Kaiser Wilhelm, the first Ort School in Watchmaking and Repair has been established. And while scholastic requirements for this course are higher than in some other classes, the students accepted are showing remarkable proficiency. Thanks to equipment and precision tools sent through the Women's American Ort, the new technicians will have little trouble finding employment. Also in Jerusalem, the Ort School for Dental Technicians is now operating with some 30 students, equipped by Women's American Ort with the most modern machines and tools, along with a generous allotment of expendable materials. The class in dental mechanics has added greatly to the prestige of Ort's name in Israel. Already new supplies are on the way for the coming semester to enable work in the laboratory to continue without interruption. Think of the opportunity these students will have. A handful of dental technicians in a country of more than 1 million people. Of vital importance to the future of Israel is the development of its agricultural economy. This year in the important agricultural school at Kfar Monash, Ort is concentrating on furthering the training of agro-mechanics, young men and women skilled in the know-how of mechanized farm equipment, men and women capable not only of operating a tractor or a harvester, but capable of keeping it in running order and repairing it when it breaks down. For in a country dependent upon the soil for its food, and already handicapped by a lack of modern machinery, the breakdown of a single motor represents a real tragedy, a serious and far-reaching blow to an entire community. Today, while many chapters of Women's American Ort have generously accepted responsibility for supplying the motors and equipment necessary to carry on this school for agro-mechanics, some machinery has been obtained through America's $60 million loan to Israel. Even second-hand tractors and farm equipment provided by some of Ort's American chapters have been invaluable in promoting the knowledge so vital to the people of the new nation. It has been of tremendous assistance in getting in crops so necessary for the day-to-day existence of the people. Also at Ben Sheman, often girls living in the children's village are learning the woolen business from the ground up. From sheep shearing to washing and preparing the wool for spinning, the girls are proving remarkably adept. Many of them, not long from crowded cities of Europe, had never seen a farm. Now, with an old-fashioned spinning wheel, they are learning to spin and weave their own cloth, just as did those pioneer women who settled in America so many years ago. In fact, Paul Hoffman, former head of ECA, told Ort, "I have seen how helpful has been your training program in supplying a source of skilled labor for countries receiving Marshall Plan aid." And the encouraging thing is the natural aptitude so many have shown in grasping the skills they have set themselves to learn, like the inherent feeling for color and pattern demonstrated by these weavers of rugs and carpets. Only those found capable of doing the work are enrolled. Machines and materials are too precious, too valuable to be wasted. And so the slow, tedious, painstaking task of teaching and training goes on. That we're on the right track is evidenced by the remarkable strides we have made, by the contributions skilled Ort labor has given to the new Israel. Today, the industrial life of the new nation is beginning to make itself felt throughout the entire world. They say we have the hands and the heart. Give us only the tools and the skills. That is the great job Women's American Ort is bravely trying to do.